Your presenter has been and will be Eze Ibekwe, also known as Mazi Eze. I'm a speech coach, I'm a lecturer, and I'm a teacher of public speaking at myteacher.com.ng. In this episode, we'll be talking about staying audience conscious. I did say in the last edition that we will be talking about strategies that will enable you speak effectively, speak efficiently, speak to wow your audience, and not only that, speak to connect to the audience. Because the essence of any public speaking endeavor is to connect to an audience. If you speak and your audience doesn't hear, doesn't understand, then that public speaking endeavor has failed. Today we'll be talking about what's an audience, what are the kinds of audience members. We'll also talk about the strategies to connect with an audience. That's what will keep us preoccupied in this. Who is an audience? Simply put, an audience is your listener. You're the speaker. If I were to encode it in technical terminology, I would say your audience is the decoder of the message. You are the encoder of the message. You have a particular message you want to pass across to the audience. You are encoding it through a particular code. It could be any language. The language becomes the code. Now, the person who is listening to you is the decoder. That's the audience. And the audience is the recipient of the message you have packaged. The point is this: there are two major kinds of audience members. There are those who are receptive and there are those who are hostile. The dream of any public speaker is to encounter a receptive audience, because if you encounter a hostile audience, you will step out on the wrong foot. Right? So you need to be prepared to encounter any audience. There may be people who are coming with some kind of grudge. You don't know, they may be carrying an emotional baggage, they may be carrying an intellectual baggage, they may be carrying not just intellectual or emotional, ideological baggage, yes. Perhaps they have a different ideology from yours, and they are coming already prepared for war. So you encounter so many kinds of audience members. So specifically, hostile members and then receptive. But the receptive audience members are more in a particular audience. And that's why when you are choosing a topic, which is the very first thing you need to do in order to engage your audience, choose an appropriate topic. I'll say it again. Choose an appropriate topic that will connect to your audience. Assuming you are invited to go and talk to high school kids, you're going to talk to secondary school kids, and then you go there and prepare to talk to them about the first and second law of thermodynamics. You lose quite a good member of your audience, except they are science inclined. I was once upon a time invited to talk to some high school kids, and they gave me a topic to talk about career and dreams. I prepared it. I was to address SS3 students. But when I stepped into the auditorium, I saw 1,001 students. Apparently, the entire school was there gathered. And it was a school that harbored both the secondary school, the junior secondary and senior secondary, and the primary section. Every pupil, every student was there. And I was to talk about career. So I needed to come low, fly at an altitude, so that I'll be able to reach out to every audience member. So that's why I'm saying you need to choose a career topic. Now, on that particular day, this incident I'm talking about, I had to employ a different strategy, different from the one I already came prepared with. But the topic remained the same: career. The topic remained the same: dreams. But because I knew that primary school students were there, I had to adopt the storytelling method, because children, they love stories, and everybody loves to hear a very good story. Now, that's the first strategy to stay audience conscious. The next strategy that you need to adopt to stay audience conscious is number 2, talk to your audience. Communicate with your audience. Don't talk at them, talk to them. So many people, they think the public speaking business is a place where you go to display your erudition, to display how much grammatical, high-sounding words, highfalutin words that you know, and then you throw them around, and then the audience claps for you. The major thing is this. After clapping for you, what did they learn from your bombastic display of erudition? The point is this, and it's a noteworthy point. Talk to your audience. Aim at communicating the point you have marshaled out. Communicate those issues. Don't aim at impressing. Listen to this. When you aim at impressing, you may depress your audience. But when you aim at communicating, you will hit the target. Now, communication is said to have taken place when the speaker speaks, the audience members listen, and then give a feedback, if any. Usually, feedback may be overt or covert. By the body language, they've given you a feedback that they understood what you were saying. And from their frowns, you may know that, oh, what you said flew above their heads. So there is the speaker, there is the audience, there is the feedback, if any. If that happens, communication has taken place. I could enter a room and then begin to speak Kiswahili. If I speak Kiswahili and you're listening to me, you heard me, and you did not understand me, no communication has happened. So the most important point, one of the most important points I dare say is communicate with your audience. Talk to them. Don't talk at them. Don't aim at impressing them. We move on to point number 3. And point number 3 is, while you are talking to your audience members, try to use transition markers. What are transition markers? Some people call it transitional markers. Things like first, second, furthermore, moreover, however, nevertheless, nonetheless, ultimately, and so on and so forth. You see, they're called markers because they are just like the trafficator in a car. You want to veer to a junction to the right, you trafficate to your right. The same thing happens, you want to veer into a junction or an intersection by the left, you trafficate to the left. So that any car coming closely behind will apply the brakes and watch you swerve into the intersection and then gets on with its business. That's exactly what happens while you're talking to an audience. If you need to move to another topic, you need to signal them. I say, another strong point is XYZ. You need to move to another topic. You say, furthermore, you need to move to another contrasting topic. You say, however, in contrast to what I have said, those are transition markers. It helps the audience to keep track of the points you are making, the points you are enumerating, and the order in which you are outlining them. The last one I will talk about today is paint a picture with words. In public speaking, staying audience conscious, staying audience centered has everything to do with painting a picture with words. You could paint a picture with words by telling a story. You could do that by making use of figurative expressions. You could do that by making use of figures of sound. I'll demonstrate some of these in a moment. You could also do that by giving a parable. Look at the person whom I consider to be a public speaker par excellence, Jesus. He would usually use a parable. He's talking about forgiveness. He tells the story of a son that goes abroad and wastes the goods the father had, and then comes back. Forgiveness is given to him on a platter of gold. So if you forget the concept, you will not forget the story. That's the essence of using a story to paint a picture in the mind of the listener. Many audience members may forget all the concepts you talked about, but if there is a story that carried across those concepts, they will most likely not forget the stories. So that's why you need to paint a picture in the mind of the listener. It is this painted words that create a lasting impression on the mind of the audience, so that when everything adds up, when the music stops, and the shouting goes down, what they go away with will most likely be the story that you outlined, enumerated so many points. There are some speakers, and that's how I want to round off in this session. There are some speakers who choose to tell a story to start their public speaking engagements, or they tell a story to round it off. It's up to you to know which you will tell. I remember that instance I cited about my going to a secondary school to teach, to talk, to public speak. I was prepared a short message for SS3 students, and when I got there, the whole school was gathered. So I chose to tell them a story. I won't tell the story in this episode. I'll tell it in the next episode. And that's what I will entitle using storytelling to communicate or connect to a specific audience. I know you would want to listen up and watch out for that story. It's going to be a mind-blowing session. Till I come your way again, I am Mazi Eze or Eze Ibekwe. Stay tuned. Don't touch the dial. I'll see you. Just in case you want to hook up with me, you can do that via my social media handles like Mazi Eze, M-A-Z-I space E-Z-E in Facebook. And then you could also do Public Speaking Academy, PSA, still on Facebook. Then on Instagram, I'm Mazi_Eze. Or you could do me a mail at Eze Ibekwe, EZEIBEKWE22 at gmail.com. Stay tuned. Stay cool.